Justice is blind, but not when it comes to your computer and security issues. Learn about amazing legal issues involving computer security. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Holiday Inn West in sunny Myrtle Beach, right on the waterway. We're focused on last week's computer security conference, which was held here at the hotel, and we'll visit with one of its invited speakers, an attorney with Womble, Carlyle, Sandridge, and Rice, Culley Carson. Good morning, Culley.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It is so exciting to think about your tremendous talk on legal issues, security issues, and computers.
Right.
Which really has worldwide significance.
Oh, absolutely. This day and age, everything being so connected by the internet and with e-commerce and everything, it's very, very critical time in information security. So,
and Womble, Carlyle, Sandridge, and Rice is really cutting edge in legal issues, security issues.
We've put together a team across industries to deal with a whole host of both the regulations as well as the enforcement actions, as well as helping companies to prepare themselves for all of the really alphabet soup of regulation that has come out of the federal government and state governments, for that matter.
Oh, golly, it is fascinating when you think of it. Of course, coming down here, are you originally from this area, Culley?
No, actually, I grew up in Durham, North Carolina, so just right up the road, although I spent most of my childhood summers right up the road in Ocean Isle Beach.
Oh, yeah, in Brunswick County,
Brunswick County, right over the border.
So, we love it. We love it.
Came to Myrtle Beach virtually every summer, I think.
At least to buy fireworks.
Right, to buy fireworks and enjoy the Grand Strand. So it was great.
So you know this area relatively well, and of course, growing up in the Triangle, which is a real hotbed of a lot of things going on, the Research Triangle Park, a lot of computer issues there, the home of Duke University, NC State, and UNC Chapel Hill, and some other tremendous institutions in that area. It's pretty much a cutting-edge area. You're back there now, right?
I am. I've spent a number of years away from Durham. Went to Washington, D.C., spent some time on Capitol Hill up there working, and then went to law school, and then actually spent the last 7 years in Atlanta. So sort of been and done the big city thing and wanted to come back home to North Carolina, and have really enjoyed being back there, but also enjoyed being part of the firm that in our Research Triangle Park office, which, as you say, is right in the hub of all that's going on. There's so many businesses, Fortune 100 companies that have either relocated their headquarters there or have a major presence there. Cisco Systems, Dell, counted among them.
So SAS, IBM, and of course SAS not being a Fortune 100, but still being one that has dramatic impact on a lot of folks.
Absolutely. They've had a huge operation over there and a dramatic impact not only in the Triangle but worldwide. So to be a part of that is just phenomenal.
And probably the excitement of being associated with Womble, Carlyle, Sandridge, and Rice, which really has ties and tentacles spread out all over, but probably overlaps with all of those companies, even the major Fortune 100 companies.
Sure, and that's one of the things I think that the firm prides itself on, is its ability to cross-sell across markets. So we have people who represent these Fortune 100 companies in some particular area of the law. If that company has another need, we can go to an expert in Washington, D.C. We can go to an expert in Atlanta, or right there in the Research Triangle Park. So, we also have an office in Greenville, South Carolina. So
good.
We have
there's a presence here in the Palmetto State. Great.
Absolutely. In fact, we were one of our attorneys, Larry Etheridge, was instrumental in helping Google come to South Carolina.
I didn't know that. Just recently,
Just recently, it was in the news. So Larry helped them acquire a site. I think that they're going to be building
a data center
right outside of Charleston. So
that's great. I think they're doing one also in North Carolina as well.
Right. Google's a good client. We help them as well in North Carolina.
That's tremendous. Start those connections in the Tar Heel State and bring them on over to the Palmetto State.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. That's fantastic. Is Womble, Carlyle, Sandridge, and Rice headquartered there in the Triangle?
Actually, they're headquartered in Winston-Salem.
Oh, good. Sure.
the firm is over 100 years old, and it's based in Winston-Salem, as I said. Very strong ties to Wake Forest University.
Yes.
And R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. That's essentially where it found its roots, and then has since expanded to, I think now over 11 offices.
Is that right?
Primarily up and down the Atlantic and eastern seaboard is where our focus is. So.
That is tremendous. And of course, you know, so much goes into preparing to be a speaker at a conference. And obviously last Thursday you were here. I guess you traveled in from the Triangle to be here for the conference. How did you go about preparing for your talk, and what exactly what was it about?
Sure. Well, as I said, one of the great things about working for Womble Carlyle is that we have essentially experts in every area of the law. So one of the first things I did was reach out to some of those folks. Right. Mike Hubbard, who's in our Raleigh office, is a noted expert on HIPAA-related security issues.
Okay, for viewers who may not be familiar with HIPAA, what exactly is that?
HIPAA is a set of regulations that deals with the healthcare industry, and basically so that you keep your personal identification and information regarding your health care or insurance and that kind of thing, keep that private so that people can't get access to that information. So he works with kind of Fortune 500 companies to try to get their policies in order so that they comply with these regulations.
Good.
Did that also with a fellow, Ted Claypool.
Yes.
Ted is in our Charlotte office.
Right.
And he is former in-house counsel with Bank of America, also with CompuServe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Tremendous.
So he has a lot of great experiences to tap into. Also, of course, I did my own research, and we're just taking some of the lessons that I've learned working with clients in this area.
Sure.
And hopefully putting together a presentation. I think it was well received, at the conference. So.
I was fascinated, Culley, reading a little about you when I visited your firm's website, the WCSR.com, to see a little bit about your experiences with Bovis Lend-Lease down in Atlanta. It looks like you were very involved in their legal division there, and really watching a lot of aspects involved in more than it looked like $150 million in transactions. One of the exciting aspects was your involvement in really the business side of an operation as opposed to just the legal side. Those experiences themselves probably helped some in preparing for the last week's conference.
Absolutely. I think it's really important as a lawyer, to be able, if you're going to try to advise your clients in the business clients, you have to have some framework of understanding as to what some of their needs are, what their demands on their time, as well as how to get the job done in a quick but also very effective way.
Right.
And working in-house with Bovis, which is a global construction and development company, really helps to hone those skills, to be able to understand the financial impact, but also the need for quick and concise advice to clients. So that was a great training, I think. And also, I think one of the things that Womble Carlyle also values is folks who have some previous business
hands-on experience. Absolutely.
Right, because that's, if they're going to be holding themselves out as providing world-class legal advice to businesses, they've got to have folks who know business. So, so that's one of the things that I think the firm values, and what brought me there.
Oh yeah, and speaking of that, I know you traveled to the Myrtle Beach area a few times on behalf of Bovis Lend-Lease, and there's a tremendous resort up in the North Myrtle Beach area that Bovis was involved in. I think they're even involved right now on an existing project that may have began after you left Bovis Lend-Lease out on the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base. A lot happening there at the Market Common with McCaffrey and Lucadia and some of those groups that are doing a gigantic project now. I've seen the Bovis signs out
good to hear.
Out on site.
Yeah, I was working on some of those deals early on.
Right.
And Bovis is really trying to get a presence here. Obviously, Myrtle Beach is a fantastic market.
Oh yeah.
With so much going on.
Right.
With the the beachfront properties, a lot of them are being either destroyed or revitalized. So it's a great opportunity for a construction company.
Right behind us here, a $500 million park, the Hard Rock theme park, the first in the world, going up with gigantic investment from all over, both from Israel, as well as Florida, a $450 million park literally right behind the hotel here.
Wow.
So some big excitement, which will be opening next year. And of course, part of the hub here, the Holiday Inn West, a lot of conferences going on here all the time. And of course, the success of last week's conference. Dr. Stamey, the general chair, was with us earlier this week talking about the conference. It sounds like y'all had a really, really big turnout. And of course, your presentation, I understand you put together a PowerPoint presentation to try to get some legal issues across to the guests there, many of which were locals and others who traveled in from all over the world.
Yeah. It was actually, I did put together a presentation. I mean, there's a PowerPoint for, makes it a little bit easier for everybody to see.
Sure.
But it's also, there's so much in this area. I mean, you really could, I spoke for 45 minutes, but
wow.
I could have talked for 45 minutes on one of my slides, probably.
Oh,
because
wow.
there's just so much information in this area. It's just it's a cutting-edge area that's evolving every day. There's new legislation coming out almost every day. In fact, recently here in the news in South Carolina, Senator Cleary, who right up the road.
Yes, down in Murrells Inlet, right?
Murrells Inlet,
yeah, very
right.
close to here, Ray Cleary.
He, apparently his wife had an experience where an employee embezzled some money from him, and part of the issue there was that employee's access to her business personal information. So
yeah.
Protecting that information, making sure that not only people from the outside, people who might want to hack into your system, but also making sure that your employees abide by your policies, but also that that you do your own due diligence on your employees to make sure that you do background checks and these kind of things to make sure that that they've got the credentials, but also to make sure that they're folks you'd want to have in the business. So.
That's a tough thing, as you know, and I'm sure Womble, Carlyle, Sandridge, and Rice, like other law firms. I know Zeke Creech was with us on Tuesday from Parker Poe,
right.
Adams and Bernstein, who traveled in talking about healthcare issues. But for both of you all associated with large firms, when you're or small firms, when you're discussing with clients those issues about how do you delicately handle these issues of doing background checks. That seems so like heavy-handed, tough thing to do, but at the same time, as you say, with computer security issues as difficult as they are, and with the ease of access to information, the issue like Ray Cleary and his wife Lisa, where $58,000 were swiped out of her accounts and just run up these gigantic bills, they can happen overnight.
Right. Well, I think one of the things that we can provide as a firm with one that communicates regularly internally,
right,
is some of the lessons learned from some of our cases, some of the clients we represented, to benefit other people, other clients that might have similar situations, or to be able to tell them, look, I understand your concern about being heavy-handed, but at the same time, here are a couple of things that have happened in the past that we think it's a good idea to set up a policy right now, and if your folks follow it, really, in this day and age, most people are used to following internal company policies. So if you just add another one on computer security or access to information, most people are okay with that. And as long as you go about it in the right way and explain what you're doing, why you're doing it, in our experience, most people are okay with those types of basic parameters. So.